I began to carve some of the deer bones into larger hooks. If we were going to catch larger fish, then we would need larger hooks. The next day passed much in the same way. We all worked with urgency, for we were going home. Just as we knew that our families would worry about us, so we fretted over them. We were well fed. Would they be? Here we had no enemies to threaten us, but were the Danes or the Norwegians hunting them? My only worry was Dreng. The other two had recovered from the insect bites, but Dreng appeared to be unwell. When I asked him, he just said that he was tired. The others did much of the work he should have done. They were now our brothers. 2 days later, and the last remnants of the storm had passed. It was heading out to sea. I saw black clouds scudding away. I took it as a sign that we should head east. Tomorrow we leave. Tonight we pack the chests on the Snecke and load the barrels. We will leave the deer meat as long as possible to dry. Our last task will be to collect greens, wild garlic, and the berries. The storm heading east dragged west winds behind it. They would take us home quickly. I went with my seax while it was still light and the ground was moist. I dug up some of the berry plants in their soil. I did the same with the greens and the garlic. We had an old pail which had sprung a leak, and I would use that to transport the plants to our home. It was as I headed back to the camp that I spied on the large island which was closest to us a fire, and it burned on the beach. Our fire could not be seen from the sea, as it was hidden by the barrels we would use for the last of the fresh water and the dried deer meat. Were the warriors in the paddled boats searching for us, or was this just a coincidence? I put the pail in the boat and gathered the others around me. We douse the fire and take it in turns to watch. There is a fire on the nearest island. I do not wish to be surprised. We load the Snecke this night. Futter, you and Rek will sleep aboard the Snecke. One sleeps and one wakes. We three will watch on the beach. Keep a weapon close to hand. If you hear anything, then shout. I would rather lose sleep than lose one of you. Aye, Captain. But why not leave tonight? Because the storm is at sea. I would rather the storm stay to the east of us. I would not wish to catch it up. The Norns were spinning. Whatever decision I made, I knew there were dangers. I took the middle watch. It was the hardest. When Dreng woke me, I rose and went to make water at the beach. Rek was in the prow of the Jotna, and he was alert. I nodded to him. Is all quiet? Aye, Captain. Then sleep, and I will wake Futter later. I can watch here from the shallows. I strapped on my sword. My other weapons were already in the Snecke. I had my sealskin cape about my shoulders, for there was a chill in the air. If we had to board quickly, then there was nothing which would be left on the shore. Our Snecke was our home. We each had our own space aboard, and we were comfortable. I walked along the shore. There were rocks there. I saw little point in wetting my boots. I walked 800 paces and sat on a large rock. I looked across the bay. The water hissed on the sand as each wave broke. The tide was at its lowest and would soon come rushing in. Our Snecke was so small that we could launch her on any tide. I stared at the white caps at the top of each wave. The waves here seemed different from those at home. I knew not why. I licked my finger and held it up. The wind was coming from the west. We would have a speedy start to our journey. We were getting towards the longest days of the year. I glanced behind me and saw that the sky was just a shade lighter than black. Dawn would be here soon. It was as I looked back that I caught the movement. I saw boats approaching. Even as I ran back to the Snecke, I was shouting, "Awake!" Dreng had barely managed to get to sleep, and I saw him untie the last rope which tied us to the shore. Rek was standing by the sail, and I shouted, "Raise the sail!"